There are a lot of characters farm and build in Marvel Strike Force, and figuring out which are the best can be a daunting task. Should you build a certain character or leave them alone? Well, in this video, we're making it easy for you. We're counting down the top 10 farmable, aka free-to-play characters in Marvel Strike Force for the month of December of 2022. There's a lot of new farmable characters, and it's a big shakeup to this list. So if you're ready to see how this list has changed from last month to this month, you know what to do. Find that like button and let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, happy holidays, Valley Club. I am ValleyFlyin. I hope you're having a great Sunday. We're talking about the top 10 free-to-play, aka farmable characters in Marvel Strike Force. In this video, we're counting them all down, along with some T4 and Iso-8 recommendations. Now, if this is your first time on the ValleyFlyin channel, we talk all about Marvel Strike Force in this channel. Countdown lists like this, the news, tips, tricks, gameplay videos, everything to help you with your Marvel Strike Force gaming experience. And if you haven't already subscribed, hit that subscribe button for more great content. And if this video does help you, hit that like button because it does help the algorithm. All right, but we're talking about the top 10 characters in Marvel Strike Force for December of 2022. Now, if you're a newer or mid-game player, this list can be a glimpse of what you can expect as you start to approach the end game. And this list was based a lot on what is important nowadays in the end game. And I think the biggest thing is the Horseman characters to unlock Apocalypse. Secondary on this list is going to be our Scourge characters, but we also have to take the major game modes into account. And in my opinion, it goes in this order. Arena seems to be the most important game mode, in my opinion, because of the power cores that you get. The raids are also very important because you do those every single day. Crucible is also important because we got some awesome rewards in there. And last but not least is War. So that is how this list is going to be broken down, and is based a lot on the usage over the past month. So that's how I'm breaking down this list. If you have some different valuations on these game modes, maybe you're not chasing that Apocalypse, maybe War is more important than Crucible to you, your list is going to look a little different than mine. So let me know in the comments, what is your top 10 if you don't agree with this? But before we get to that, let's talk about some awesome characters that are not eligible for this list. Some of the best characters in Marvel Strike Force not going to be on this list, like our Horseman characters, like our legendary characters. And yes, you can get them all the way to 7 stars as a free-to-play player. But for the purposes of this list, you need to be available on a node, you need to be available in a store. Permanent legendaries are also there, and then achievement login characters are also eligible. So Hulk, Dark, Mr. Negative, Wolverine are all eligible for this list, but some of these great characters, especially some of these newer characters, they're not going to be eligible for this list. But who is eligible for this list? Well, we had some new ones be recently available for this list. Let's clear this off and see who recently became farmable, at least by the definitions of this list. So we got our first 3 up here in the new Crucible store: Gambit, Abomination, Hulkbuster, all in that Crucible store now. Sersi recently being made available on the hard chapter of Villains 2.9. Spider-Woman also recently made available on the hard chapter of Heroes 4.9. We also have Nico Minoru going into the raid store, and Mr. Negative is now a free daily web store login, so eventually you should get him all the way up to 7 stars by spending no money. So these are the characters that are all available for December of 2022. Let's clear off this list and start with a countdown. Now, before we get to this countdown, I do want to mention that there are a lot of honorable mentions because there are a lot of important characters in Marvel Strike Force right now. We're going to mention the top 10, but there's a lot of other great ones that I think you should be building. So stay tuned for the end. There's going to be a lot of honorable mentions on this list, but let's get with this countdown. Coming in at number 10 spot for the first time eligible for this list, first time on this list, is Hulkbuster, one of the greatest raid characters, especially the tech raid characters in Marvel Strike Force right now, in conjunction with the Bionic Avengers, recently being made available in that Crucible store. And like I said, one of the greatest characters, especially for the tech section of the Doom raids, because he gives all of the team barrier. It's going to help their survivability Let's take a look at what makes Hulkbuster tick here. And let's take a look at his moves on MSF.GG. I do want to highlight this one right here, his ultimate. It's going to give him a lot of barrier, give the rest of the allies barrier. The T4 is going to give him more damage to the rest of the enemies, and additional 15% of this character's max health as barrier. So this is a great move. It does have a longer cooldown, but a lot of this can be reduced by the rest of the Bionic Avengers feeding ability energy to the rest of the team. And I do like all of these passives here that affect the entire team, like the Hulkbuster passive here, gaining 25% max health, and Bionic Avengers are going to gain an additional 15% max health. This helps for the entire team survivability, so those are the two best T4s. And if you want to farm Hulkbuster, like I said, he is available in a Crucible store. He's going to be great for the sex section. Also is a Death Scourge unlock, so if you're looking to unlock Archangel right now, I know the Bionic Avengers are not as good as the War Dogs, but I did beat Node 10 on difficulty 8 with my Bionic Avengers, one shot at that thing, so they are still viable for the Death Scourge unlock. And as far as the Iso-8 recommendation for Hulkbuster, number one recommendation seems to be that Striker class, with 92% of users on MSF.GG with that Striker class for Hulkbuster. And coming in at number 9 spot this month is the running mate of Hulkbuster in the tech section of the raids. It is Iron Man, one of the permanent legendary characters that you can unlock with 5 shield characters. And like I said, he is a part of that Bionic Avengers, so they're going to be very, very dominant in his tech raid team. But the reason Iron Man gets the nod over Hulkbuster, he is a War Scourge unlock, being a part of that Wave 1 Avengers. He's also a Death Scourge unlock, being a part of those Bionic Avengers. So Iron Man gets a slight nod over Hulkbuster because of the double Scourge unlocks that he has. Now, the Bionic Avengers are also great in war. If you're managing to see some of these web warriors, they're getting a little less prevalent of people just placing these web warriors on defense. So the Bionic Avengers are also getting a little less prevalent, but they're still going to stay in the meta because of their usefulness in the tech section of the raids and their Scourge unlock. So let's go take a look at Iron Man, see why he is such a good character. Well, he does a lot for this team. He's going to prolong the duration of negative effects by 1 on each target with his special. This is a great T4 that you could use on him. He's also giving ability energy for adjacent Bionic Avengers targets there. Unibeam is a great single target damage, but I don't know if I would recommend putting the Iso-8 or the T4 in that. And as far as the T4, this special is a great one. I always talk about, I like these T4s that affect the entire team, and this affects the entire team with more crit chance and more crit damage for all of the Bionic Avengers in the raids. So this passive is very good. The special is very, very good on Iron Man. And as far as the Iso-8 classes for Iron Man, 72% of users on MSF.GG have that Raider class equipped. But let's move on with this list. Coming in at number 8 spot this month, falling 1 spot from last month, is our girl Emma Frost. And she is one of the most important characters in Marvel Strike Force, still relevant all these years after her release. And that is because of her passive with that speed bar manipulation. Seems like whatever team is released in the meta, one way to easily get in front of them is to add one of these speed characters like Emma or Loki or Cable. The difference between Emma is normally when you bring in one of those other characters, you don't care if they die. Emma, you want to survive because she still does other things instead of just manipulating speed bars. She can clear off negative effects from your team. She can clear off positive effects off the enemy team, applying blinds, and a very, very good character. But she's not as useful as she once was. She is still a part of that arena meta, which is why she is on this list. Emma recently made farmable on Heroes 2-3, the hard chapter of Heroes 2-3. And like I said, she could slot into many, many teams, which is why she's always going to be a part of that arena meta because of that speed bar manipulation. Unless there's kind of some character that negates this or some character that does this better, these speed characters are always going to be in there. So what are some great moves that she does? Well, we talked about her special here. This is going to give her barrier, clearing negative effects from self. But if you put this T4 in, it's going to be clearing all negative from self, all negative effects from allies. So this is a strong move. 3-turn cooldown as well. So you're doing this more than once per battle. This ultimate is also another great move. With the T4, you're going to clear all positive effects on all enemies instead of just 3. And you're going to apply that blind. You're going to mind control 2 enemies, characters instead of 1, which is another reason she's going to be a part of this meta because these mind control characters are going to be based on how big your opponent's characters are. So, and Emma seems like she's going to be on this list for a while, just with that speed bar manipulation and the great things that she does in her special and her ultimate. And as far as her T4, the most popular T4 on MSF.gg is that healer class, with 69% of MSF.gg users with that healer class on Emma Frost. But let's move on with this list. Coming in at the number 7 spot, dropping 3 spots from last month, is our boy Shang-Chi, available in the Blitz store, and is very, very important part of that skill raid team, and is a part of war defense and at Heroes for Hire, although there's a lot more counters in war defense. But he's such a great character, fills in so many slots, has that hero tag, has that city tag, so you're going to be able to use him in the Dark Dimension part of City. You could also use him in Block Party. Let's go take a look at his kit real quick, see why he is still on this list, despite him not being in an arena meta, despite him not being a horseman. He is still a part of that skill raid team though, so he's still used every single day. He has some really great moves that I do want to highlight here. First is his special. Yes, it's going to give more damage. One of the big things that's going to do is give more speed bar, filling it by 50% when you do this move. Great special here, but the big one that you want to upgrade is his ultimate. It's going to give you more damage, yes, but it's also going to reduce the speed bar of the enemies by additional 5%, bringing it up to 10% total when you have this T4. In a turn-based game, that is deadly. So really good stuff that he does in his kit. And he does make this list despite not being a part of the arena meta, not being a part of a horseman or a scourge team. He's so versatile. Like I said, Dark Dimension City, if you're still going through that, Shang-Chi is going to make a major difference. Block Party, he could almost solo that thing and just with high-level Shang-Chi. And as far as his Iso-8 class, the most popular class for Shang-Chi on MSF.gg is that Raider class. So awesome character, and very easy to get shards for. Is in a Blitz store right now, so easy character to get some shards for. Coming in at the number 6 spot for the first time on this list is our gal Sersi, and she is another character like Shang-Chi, not a part of the arena meta, not a horseman or a scourge character, but her kit is so good, especially when paired with Icarus, that she makes this top 6 spot right here. And she's available, recently made farmable on that Hard Villains Chapter 2.9 right now. Let's go take a look at her kit real quick, see why she is so good. She has a lot of great moves here, and you can make the argument for every single T4, but I do want to highlight a few of them. She has a stun on her special here. She's going to get more damage with the T4. You're going to get 10% of the character's max health as barrier for her and Icarus. And in Arena, if you're still using an Arena, she's going to get more of the max health as barrier as well. So additional barrier there. More damage is great. This is a strong opening move. Speed up for 2 turns, ability energy for her and Icarus. This is a great T4 here. 91, almost 92% of users on MSF.gg has already T4 the ultimate. And this is a great passive as well. I like these passive that affect other members of the team, and there's only 2 Eternals, but she's going to give more max health to all of the Eternals in the game right now, and more focus for all of the Eternals in the game right now. Just her and Icarus, but still, all of the Eternals in the game. Very good character. I would build her right now. She's a very strong character if you could access Villains 2.9. Very good in the Mystic raids. The Eternals, they're one of the major solutions to the Mystic raids right now. Also using her in Cosmic Crucible, offense and defense, both of these Eternals, using them both in war. And as far as Iso-8 recommendations, 89% of users have that Skirmisher tag attached to her. Moving on with the list though, coming in at his number 5 spot, moving up 1 spot from last month, it is Hela. Yes, Hela still remains a part of the meta, and a lot of her placement on this list is because she is an arena character. So she gets a nod over some other characters that may have a better kit than her, like Emma Frost, like Shang-Chi, like Sersi, because she's a part of the arena meta right now. Currently using her on my arena offense team with Dormammu, 2099 Weaver. Hela's there, and a lot of that is because of the manipulation, a turn-meter manipulation when Greg dies, and Red Hulk is also there. And you can get a Hela on Villain 7, 6, and on the Hard Chapter of the Heroes 2, 3. But like I said, she is a part of the arena meta. Let's go take a look at her kit and see why she is also so valuable. And a lot of it is because of Greg, and she did get a bit of resurgence with Zombie Iron Man's introduction. She also is a villain Mystic controller, so if you haven't unlocked Phoenix, you could also use her to unlock Phoenix. Some of the highlights of her kit here is this big ultimate death knives. It's going to clear a barrier from all enemies. It recently got this extra tag here. Characters killed by this attack cannot be revived. So all those extra revive once by Dormammu and other characters, well, she's going to just get rid of that. So this is a great one. It's going to spread the negative effects from one character. It's going to go 4 negative effects to all characters, spreading that around. And she also has a great passive because when this character drops below 50% max health, if Zombie Iron Man is an ally, you're going to summon an undead. So summoning another Greg, applying taunt to all of the undead Asgardian allies, and can only trigger once per match. So that new passive can get 2 Gregs on the field. Excellent character. And as far as her Iso-8 recommendations, 72% of users on MSF.gg have that Raider class attached to Hela there. All right, moving on with the list though. Coming out at this number 4 spot is a new character on the list. It is our boy Abomination, a War Horseman team. We have our first Horseman character on this list, and it is Abomination. So obviously, because he's in that War team, going to be very good in War offense or War defense. Hasn't quite cracked the arena meta yet, but is also very good in Crucible. As you know, this Gamma is a pain wherever you see them in Crucible, wherever you see them in War, and you could also use this Gamma team to clear a node in the Bio raids, the Bio Doom raids there. So let's go take a look at Abomination, see why he is so good. Recently being made available in the Crucible store, but his kit is nothing to sneeze at as well. Has an awesome basic, awesome special, but I do want to talk about his ultimate here because this is what's going to get that stun from a 50% chance to a 100% chance. And as you know, if you played with this Gamma, getting that stun from Abomination is very, very important. So this is a very important T4, not just for Abomination, but for that entire Gamma team. And we also got another passive here that helps the entire team. 20% drain for self and Gamma allies. That alone makes this a worthy T4, but he's also going to give more healing. He's also on turn going to flip a random positive effect on all enemies with positive effects. Very, very strong passive here. Highly recommended special passive and ultimate. Does have a very good special and basic, but the ultimate and the passive are the way to go here. And will be a part of that Apocalypse Unlocked because it was a Horseman character. And 71% of users on MSF.gg have that Raider class attached to Abomination. Going back to the list, continuing the countdown, coming in at the number 3 spot is Hulk. Yes, my boy Hulk retains his number 3 spot. He is available every day in your achievement. So this is a character that you could continue to build. He is part of that same War Horseman team that Abomination is on. But the reason that Hulk gets the nod is because he's also a Wave 1 Avenger. So you could use him to unlock a Wave 1. You could use him to unlock Red Hulk. And you could use him on that same team with Red Hulk. So double nod there. Hulk gets a little bit of a nod over Abomination. Plus, he's a little better character. He is the character that is going to be doing the damage, and he's going to take some heat off the rest of the team with his taunt that he does. Let's take a look at him, why he is so good as you continue to get some shards for him in your achievements there. He has a great kit here. One of the more important T4s is this Rage because it's the special here. 3-turn cooldown. This is where you're healing up Hulk. This is where you're applying that taunt. He's going to give some damage as well, but clearing all negative effects instead of 3 negative effects makes a big difference in this, especially in that full Gamma team. And I do want to highlight his passive here. He's always angry. He's going to fill the speed bar when his character drops below 50% health, allowing him to do that big ultimate and that big special a little more. And when fill the speed bar by 5% when an enemy attacks a Gamma or a Wave 1 Avenger. So it's a slower character, but this is how he's going to get his speed and make himself always angry. So great character. You're going to use him for your Apocalypse Unlock. Like I said, you could use him to unlock Red Hulk. And as far as Iso-8 class, the overwhelming majority of users, over almost 74% of users on MSF.gg have that healer class attached to their Hulk. But Striker is another great option. If you're looking for more damage instead of just that sustainability, Striker is another way to go. I personally have Healer on my Hulk, though. Let's continue with this countdown. Coming in at the number 2 spot on this list is another Horseman character. It is Wong. And Wong is one of the best Darkhold characters. He is the character that really makes that team annoying. If you didn't have to get around Wong, you could just attack Morgan Le Fay, you could just attack Agatha, but Wong makes it so that Darkhold is a very, very annoying team. Now, you can get him You can get his shards on Heroes, the hard version of Heroes 1-3. Like I said, he is a part of that Pestilence Horseman team, that Darkhold team. So he's going to be very important in Crucible, in War. You're going to need him for that Apocalypse unlock. But let's take a look at his kit, some highlights of his kit, what makes Wong so good. And a lot of it comes down to this ultimate right here. As we scroll down, his basic, special are very good. But this ultimate right here, this is the big, huge cooldown moves. You're using this once per match pretty much, but you're going to transfer all negative effects from this character to the primary target. Before that, it's only 2 negative effects, so you may not get rid of all the negative effects on Wong. You can clear all negative effects on self instead of just 2, so huge ultimate. The downside, like I said, is that you're getting this long cooldown. You're getting 15% of his health as barrier. His passive is also very good because you're going to apply defense up. You're going to gain armor for himself, and Darkhold allies are going to gain additional armor, and I like these passives that affect the entire team. So very, very strong moves here. I would recommend putting the T4s in the passive and the ultimate. As far as T4 recommendations for Wong, over 90% of users on MSF.GG have that striker class attached to him. So very good character, very important as far as that Darkhold team. They're not in the arena meta right now, but you're going to need him to unlock Apocalypse. You're going to need that Gear 16 on him to unlock Apocalypse. You're going to need that Iso-8 4-level blue on Wong to unlock Apocalypse. So great character here, and build him, especially if you're using your Darkhold in many game modes like they are great in Crucible, War. Let's move on to the final spot on this list. Coming in at number 1 spot is another new character on this list. Recently been made available in a Crucible store, and it is Gambit. Gambit is another Horseman character, so the top 4 all dominated by these Horseman characters. And Gambit could be one of the best horsemen on this list right now. He is in the Crucible store, so recently made available with Abomination and Hulkbuster. So a lot of great characters in that Crucible store. But he's a famine horseman, so using him along with the unlimited X-Men, great in Crucible. They're also great in War. Just a combination of Rogue and Gambit, or a deadly duo. He's also a mutant character, so not only can you use him to unlock Apocalypse, but you can also use him to unlock Magneto. Let's go take a look at some of the highlights of his kit. He has a very strong kit, and yes, no cooldowns on his special, which is an interesting thing. So his basic is a great attack for some single targets, and his special is a great attack for some adjacent targets as well. Also has that ability block if you have that charge on him. But I do want to talk about his ultimate right here. This is a great T4 cannon, and now this is not something that you're going to use multiple times per match because of that long 6-turn cooldown, but you're getting more damage. You're getting disrupted for 2 turns instead of 1 turn, and flipping 2 positive effects into negative effects instead of just 1. So that's only going to be on Crucible, but it's extra damage, these extra disrupteds, all very, very good stuff. This is a T4 that I would highly recommend. And another T4 I'd recommend is his passive right here. On Crucible at the end of any turn, they'll speed bump by 20% of this character. You're going to get 25% max health. X-Men allies are getting 25% max health. Now notice that it says X-Men allies, not just unlimited X-Men allies. So you could use them in other combinations. And if you're doing this Death Scourge that's going on right now, you could use them in these non-legendary mutant lanes as well, and he's getting stealth for 2 turns as well. So great character. And as far as the Iso-8 for Gambit, 90% of users on MSF.GG have Raider attached to Gambit. That is it for this list, but like I said, there's a lot of other characters that didn't quite make the list that do deserve a mention. The first is Noble, part of that Underworld team, and is a character that is so strong. His passive is so strong that even when he dies, he can still bring characters back to life. I want to mention the Young Avengers. We got Kate Bishop, Squirrel Girl, very, very farmable, very good characters on that Young Avengers team. Very versatile team. Captain Sam, Sharon, Maria Hill, all required for that skill raid team, and they're a very good team in themselves, so very good. Captain Sam was almost on this list. We got OG Captain America, who's going to be a part of that Rebirth team for that Bio Raid section. And if your Web Warriors and Gamma team aren't cutting in this Bio Raid teams, well, the solution is going to be that Rebirth team. So you start to build up Captain America nowadays if you're not going to be using your Gamma or your Web Warriors. We also have Scarlet Witch and She-Hulk, who are 2 other horsemen, but are not the best horsemen, but they're good. They're on this honorable mention as well, especially if you want to unlock Apocalypse. We got some other Death Seed characters in Psylocke and Magneto. Didn't quite make the list this month yet, but when we get this full Death Seed team up and running with Nemesis and Archangel in the game, I'm sure that Psylocke and Magneto will be on this list. And let's not forget the other War Dogs, Shuri, Black Panther, Nakia, all farmable. Shuri is a permanent legendary, so she does get that nod, similar to Magneto. So they're very great. They're War Dogs. They're part of Chaos Theory. They're part of that Death Scourge unlock and good Crucible team as well. So that is it, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this list. Did you have a different list based on other game mode valuations or other characters that you think are important? Or maybe you're not even going for Apocalypse, so your list is totally different than mine and screwing that Horseman tag. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, though, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. If you haven't already checked me out on social media, check me out there. If you want to support the channel, check out some of the sponsors down below, and have a great rest of your day. Have a happy holidays. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin out. Have a great one, guys.